Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. With the recent rain and flooding, it's very evident where we've had a very wet July so far, but looking at some numbers for month-to-date precipitation across the rest of the state, some areas within an inch below average: Morgantown and Clarksburg, Elkins just a bit above, Parkersburg over an inch and a half above, Huntington almost 2.5 inches above month-to-date average precipitation. However, Huntington is behind average year-to-date by over 3.5 inches, Clarksburg more than 2 inches behind, Elkins behind average by almost 2 inches, a slight surplus for Morgantown. That's about it. Charleston behind average month-to-date by about 1/4 inch, year-to-date almost a 6-inch deficit. We'll have some precipitation accumulation opportunities as we head through the start of the week. Monday and Tuesday doing a lot of that work. We'll monitor any heavy rain that may bring some localized flooding concerns in that time frame. Up until then, pretty quiet. We'll have a few showers passing here or there Friday, a few more of those gradually building into the region Saturday and Sunday as well. FlySair forecast, it starts at home. Atlanta, Orlando, Charlotte, Tampa, Myrtle Beach, those are all stormier areas you could be traveling to, while quiet conditions elsewhere are what we're experiencing. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, another overnight period with lows in the 50s and highs that are in the upper 70s to 80s, at 83 for Moundsville. We'll see more 50s for lows looking east than highs that are in the upper 70s and low 80s. Martinsburg, 83, Petersburg, 80, Elkins, 56 overnight, then 79 for a high on Friday. Not much warmer than that toward Ripley with 82. Marlinton, 56 and 74 here Friday with 83 in Charleston. We'll continue to see highs generally in the 80s with the active period starting to arrive over the weekend, but again, the heavier rain threat looks to be Monday and Tuesday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, three.
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for Thursday. Thanks for joining us. We're back inside the Health Plan Studios. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Kyle Wiggs, Greg Hunter, and Brad Howe with you on this Thursday. We're glad you are with us. A lot of ground to cover tonight. We're dual cam tonight. We got 2 cams on. We've got Cam Cook coming up. Brad, you had a chance to visit with him and get to know him on 3 Guys Before the Game, and we'll hear some of those comments coming up later in the show.
Yeah, had a great talk with him. I think people love hearing from him, the nation's leading rusher from last year, and he is fired up to be here in West Virginia and ready to go.
Also, we'll check in with we'll give you an update on day 1 of the State American Legion Baseball Tournament. 3 of the 4 games on day 1 are complete. South Charleston just completed a comeback in knocking off Bridgeport in the first round. 4-2 was that final. So South Charleston advances. 2-time defending champ Wheeling played like it today. They beat Potomac Valley 10-0. And Berkeley, post 14, defeated Parkersburg, post 15, 8-4. And we'll be joined by Berkeley head coach Tripp Tobin in just a couple of minutes. Get some thoughts on his team's win today and the tournament overall at Epling Park in Beckley. Now, I said we're dual cam today. We've got 2 cams. Cam Cook later, and our first Cam is with us, and he's down at the Greenbrier, Cam Huffman. And there's news today, guys, of the WVU women's basketball team going back to the Greenbrier, which was last year one of the highlights of the season, not just the women's basketball season, one of the highlights of the WVU sports season when they beat Duke at the Greenbrier.
Agreed. And we'll get to Cam here in just a second. We love this event, right? Collectively, this is weird. It's fun. It's different. I love that they're playing in this ballroom. And last year's result, unbelievable how that turned out. So I think if you're Mark Kellogg, you'd like to play with your full complement of players.
Do you only take 5 down this year?
I think no. I do not think you want a repeat of what happened, but that was one for the history books there, and pretty cool event last year.
So Cam Huffman is with us, and Cam, you got the Mountaineers to come back. They're going to play Northwestern in women's hoops Friday, November 13th. And again, that is in the ballroom there as part of the Greenbrier tip-off at the Colonial Hall Ballroom. First of all, good evening to you. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
So I would imagine they were very, very anxious and excited to come back. Was that the case?
Yeah, we pretty much knew right after that game was over or the next day that we wanted to have them back and that they wanted to be back, and it was just a matter of finding an opponent, finding the dates, and working out all the details. But we were super excited to announce it, and just announcing it today, and looking back this week, getting ready for the announcement, I was kind of looking back at some of the highlights and some of the ESPN news coverage and everything that we had of the Greenbrier 5, and just reliving those moments. It was incredibly a special moment, and we are thrilled to have them back again.
So, Cam, not only is West Virginia coming down for a second straight year, but this is part of the Greenbrier tip-off that's going to include several other games as well, right? Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, so we'll have some more games that we'll announce later, but so far we have announced the men's game between Xavier and Mississippi State that will take place on the same day as that WVU women's matchup. We're kind of still determining the schedule. As you guys know, a lot of that is determined by TV, so we're just trying to figure out exactly what time which game is going to be, but we'll hopefully have those details to come soon. But then the next day, Northwestern's going to hang around and play another game, and they'll play App State on the 14th as well. So kind of the traditional tournament format has gone away a little bit, as you guys know, with some of the events like WVU is playing in Vegas and some of those things. Those typical holiday tournaments are kind of going by the wayside or changing a little bit, but we want to make sure that we have compelling basketball, men's and women's, inside Colonial Hall. So we're kind of finding new ways to do that with some one-off matchups and then some other teams sticking around for a couple days. And it might not necessarily be a tournament format, but it's going to be some really exciting basketball.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cam. I've said since you started this, I think this is a wonderful idea for all levels. When you've done it for high school and college, men's and women's, I think it's wonderful here. Give us a sense, and from a West Virginia perspective, this is a no-brainer for them to come back, certainly given what went through last year, as we just discussed. But it's an easy trip. It's an easy place to get a game that's technically a neutral site, but really turns into a home game for the Mountaineers. What do you get from feedback from some of these other teams? What's in it for them? Why do they like coming to the Greenbrier?
Well, I think some of them, it's an easier trip in a lot of ways to not, maybe if they're closer, that their routing to the Greenbrier might be easier than going to Morgantown or whatever the reason is that way. But also it's just, a lot of times they stay a couple days, and it's just that, they do road trips, but staying in a resort and being together, eating meals right inside the hotel and really exploring a piece of history, which the Greenbrier is compelling to a lot of teams. And, that was one concern we had after the Greenbrier 5 last year, is who's going to want to walk into that hornet's nest and play the Mountaineers. But there were several teams that were interested in doing it, and I think teams like those one-off games, especially that time of year, just to do a little something different and maybe not necessarily go on the road. But as you said, they'll go into as hostile of an environment as can be.
But you know what, though, real quick here, Kyle, I'm sorry to jump in front of you there. It's also what I think college basketball has got right? As much as we've gnashed our teeth about all the chaos that's going around college sports, I give college basketball collectively a lot of credit, Cam, because you can put these games together, and as you just said, that is a tough win to go get if you're playing West Virginia in your building with those fans, but yet you're also not penalized by that, right? If you're Duke, you go in there, and that turns into, it's not a big loss for you. It's one of a game, and then you get some credit for strength of schedule. So obviously, Cam, from an organizing perspective, I think you would share that perspective. College basketball has that part of it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other side of that too is bringing basketball to an area that doesn't necessarily always get to see it. As you know, there's West Virginia fans all over the state, but it's not always easy for some of them to make it to Morgantown. But if you just see the excitement on the faces of some of those fans that are watching every game on TV or listening or whatever the case may be, and live their lives around Mountaineer sports, but don't always get to see them. It means a ton to them, and you could really feel that in that building last year. It was such a special moment. When I think back to some of the different moments singing Country Roads, there's so many great ones, but that one's right up there with the best of them for sure.
Having said that, this is an extremely tough ticket. So how do people go about at least attempting to get tickets for this?
Okay, so right now the only way to get tickets is to do it in a package. So that's the way that Intersport, who runs this event, likes to roll them out. Is the packages go first, and we're hoping, obviously, from a Greenbrier perspective, we want to sell hotel rooms, but from an experience perspective too, we're hoping a lot of people really come down and make a weekend of it and enjoy it. The Greenbrier is such a special part of West Virginia, and there's so many things to do, whether you're into history or the outdoors, and that time of the year it'll be decorated for Christmas. So we're hoping really people do come down, and there's some great deals available and some great packages to come down, enjoy the weekend, maybe even check out that men's game if you're a huge basketball fan, and then hang around for the women's game as well. So right now that's the only way to get them, is to buy into those packages, which you can get at greenbriertipoff.com. And if not, if you don't want to do the package, there will be some individual tickets go on sale in September. And you can go on greenbriertipoff.com now and register to be a part of an early sale for those as well. So register, make sure you're first in line to get in line for those tickets when they do become available. But hopefully a lot of people will make a weekend of it. And there will be some available in September. We don't know how many. It just depends on how many people buy those packages. But we do expect some to be available. But the best way to get them, if you want to make sure 100% sure, is to get those packages.
So that's basketball season. You've already done some FIFA stuff at the Greenbrier, and all of a sudden now, boy, don't look too far ahead, but the New York Giants are coming into the Greenbrier for part of their training camp in just, a week and a half or so? And I know the Greenbrier has hosted other NFL teams, but I don't know if the Giants have been there in the past, but that's always a cool experience, I would imagine, down there.
Yeah, for sure, and we haven't had the Giants before, and obviously that's a whole different ball game when you're bringing in some of those New York media and things like that. It's a little bit different, but we're really excited about it. The Giants are really excited about it, and it all happens beginning next week. And the part that we're probably most excited about is we've had some teams in the last several years, but it's been a while since we've really had an open training camp that fans can come and attend. But this will be, they'll have 6 practices that fans can come and attend, and they're really making a big deal. They're going to have like a kids zone. They're going to have some concessions and some merchandise and an autograph session for younger kids after the practices, so that they're really trying to make it a fan-friendly, exciting event. And the only charge is for parking. The parking will be in Hart's Run, just a few miles away from the Greenbrier, and they'll have a shuttle up to the Sports Performance Center. So it's really going to be a great fan event. I was on the phone earlier this week with some people from the Giants, and they're really hoping to have a big turnout. They want to put on a show for the fans and really get a part of the country that doesn't get to see them a chance to see NFL football right here in West Virginia.
So give us again the dates on that when the Giants start.
The first practice is June 30th. I believe that's a Thursday. I believe it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they take a few days off, and then it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all starting on June 30th. So the last couple of days of June and then into the first week of August are the 6 open practices. And you can find all that information on the Greenbrier's website. Just go under the packages and events tab, or you can go right to the Giants website as well and just click on training camp, and it has all that information. You do need to register in advance for parking. So if fans are interested in going, go ahead and register in advance, so they'll have your parking ticket at the parking lot when you show up. But then that's the only cost it'll be to you. And the parking is per vehicle, so you can pack your vehicle with a whole bunch of fans and pay one price, and then head up and watch the practice.
Cam, I think you meant July there.
Yeah.
You said June. You meant July 30, July 31.
Yeah,
obviously. July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. Then a break. You come back on August 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, that's all great information about the parking. Very exciting. Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Brian Burns. Hopefully Cam Scadabo's got the backflips out of his system. We won't be seeing that.
John Harbaugh in year one with the Giants.
Exactly.
I mean, Cam, I would think that's a significant. You mentioned the New York media market, but that's a national story there with Harbaugh in his first year with the Giants. So the Greenbrier should get some national coverage out of this, I would think, right?
Yeah, it's actually really interesting with Harbaugh. This was all planned before he got the job, so we were a little worried about how that would pan out when he did get the job, but he had actually visited the Greenbrier in the past and considered practicing there before, so he was super excited about it. So he's spoken great about the opportunity for his team to get away a little bit. And like I said, with talking about some of the college teams, you get away to the mountains. There's not a whole lot else for them to do outside of the Greenbrier, so they can really have some team bonding and really focus on football. And he's excited about it, and we are too, for sure.
Outstanding. Well, great information. We appreciate it. And Cam, and I'm sure we'll probably talk to you a little bit closer to the date of the women's game down there. Again, the Greenbrier tip-off Friday, November 13th, with the WVU women's basketball team taking on Northwestern. And Northwestern's women will play a couple of games there, and Xavier will play Mississippi State in men's hoops on Friday the 13th as well, November 13th. Cam, thanks. We appreciate it. Enjoy having the Giants there, and it's a big time for sports at the Greenbrier.
It is, and I would encourage people to come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun and great opportunities right here in your backyard in West Virginia.
Very good. Cam Huffman there, Director of Public Relations and Content at the Greenbrier with the New York Giants coming to town. We'll take a break. We'll update you on day one of the State American Legion Baseball Tournament. We're in the Health Plan Studios. This is the CityNet statewide sports line. CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door. Now's the perfect time to connect. Local customer support you can trust. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. High-speed fiber internet is probably at your front door, and now's the time to connect. Your tax dollars helped expand broadband access across West Virginia, and CityNet makes it real. More rural communities in West Virginia can finally get the high-speed internet they deserve. With free equipment, free installation, no contract, and local support you can trust. So whether you're streaming, working, gaming, or running your business, CityNet delivers the speed and reliability you need. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps. And never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
The 2026 West Virginia Prep Football Showcase partnered with Coalfields & Company.
The premier program across all classes in the state.
Analysis from Travis Jones and Joe Brigado. See the players and programs shaping the 2026 season. Watch high school football athletes compete in the 40-yard dash, 5-10-5 shuttle, and broad jump. Streaming live July 25th on Metro News Television, YouTube, and Facebook.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorold.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
Sitting at Statewide Sportsline for this Thursday. Coming up, Cam Cook will get his thoughts from three guys before the game. That complete episode has dropped, but we'll take some of the highlights and talk about it coming up here on the Sportsline in just a few minutes. Day one of the State American Legion Baseball Tournament. 3 finals so far. And in Game 1, Berkeley, post 14 from West Virginia's Eastern Panhandle, beat Parkersburg today 8-4, and Berkeley broke up its innings pretty evenly. They started Jet Gross. He pitched 2 innings, and Jameer Brown, the number 1 pitcher for Washington High School, pitched the state tournament this year. He finished it, pitched 1 inning. So both of those pitchers will be able to come back later in the tournament. Marshall Derrick from Washington High School had the big day offensively, 3 for 4. Guys, he was a double shy of the cycle. Had a 3-run home run, had a 2-run triple, and then had a single, a double shy of the cycle. Marshall Derrick, 3 for 4, 5 RBI with a triple and a home run.
Well, you get the home run and triple out of the way, you feel pretty good about where you are.
In fact, those were the first 2 at-bats.
Oh,
he hit the home run in his first at-bat, got the triple in his second at-bat, and then later got the single. So
heck of a day, though.
Yeah, just missed the cycle there for Marshall Derrick of Berkeley post 14. So they move on to the winner's bracket. Also, Wheeling post 1, who's won this thing. They've just kind of rampaged through it the last couple of years. They beat Potomac Valley today 10-0. They drew 9 walks, but had 9 base hits as well. Brady Ernst, 2 for 2, 2 RBI. Brody Groom, 2 for 3. With an RBI and a run, and Jake Brown 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. So Wheeling, the defending champs, move on, and the game that was completed right when we came on the air, South Charleston came from behind and beat Bridgeport 4-2. And then the showcase game tonight is your host, Beckley post 32, who's loaded with talent, one of the favorites to win this tournament. Beckley post 32 will take on Morgantown post 2. And that game's coming up at 7 o'clock. You can watch it on the MetroNews TV app. And then tomorrow, the first elimination game, Parkersburg against Bridgeport. That's 10 a.m. Potomac Valley will take on the loser between Morgantown and Beckley. And your first winner's bracket game of the day will be Berkeley post 14 against South Charleston. And then Wheeling will play the Morgantown-Beckley winner. We've got Tripp Tobin on here, I believe, the Berkeley manager, Tripp Tobin. His team was a winner today, 8-4.
Last year in your games, 31 carries, 29 carries, 27 carries, 25 carries, 25 carries. Man, that is a load.
A couple of outstanding guys in Jet Gross and Jameer Brown. One started and one finished, but you managed to get them both. It limited their pitch counts a little bit, so both can come back in this tournament.
Yeah, it was an excellent, job by those guys offensively to give us a little bit of cushion so that we could save some pitching. So, credit to our offense on that. And then, of course, credit to the defense and the pitching to keep them down once we scored those runs. So we probably couldn't have scripted it much better to get a win and to save some pitching down here. That's an unusual thing to do with this competition.
So what about your offense today? What stood out to you?
Well, of course, Marshall Derrick stood out. I mean, he's got 5 RBIs. He come up. He's one of the younger guys on the team, and he just every day comes and gives us all he's got, and sees the ball well and hits the ball deep, and he gets a lot of extra base hits for us, and he's just one of those guys. Him and Connor Smith both hit the ball hard today, and ran the bases pretty well, and just pretty pleased with the way they took pitches and was able to hunt some fastballs. And then, they even hit a few hanging curveballs today here too. So good job on their part. They were talking in the dugout, in between innings, at bats, talking about pitching approach and things like that. So just hats off to them guys for that.
Your thoughts on the facility down there? It's been a while, I believe, since this tournament's been in Beckley, but Epling Field, watching the games on the video today, just a remarkably beautiful setting there around that ballpark.
Yeah, it's a nice place. I mean, it has a little bit of an old feel to it, but great facilities. Dugouts are nice, and Jordan Meadows and the Beckley crew have done a great job. And yeah, it's just a beautiful place. The stadium seating, and like I say, field runs a little quicker than some of the fields we're used to. The turf's pretty short and tight, so they're adjusting to that a little bit. But as far as, like I say, aesthetically, it is a beautiful place.
Did you get a chance to watch the South Charleston-Bridgeport game?
Oh, yeah. Sat in and watched every pitch.
So you've got South Charleston. Give me a quick scouting report on South Charleston and your approach to that winner's bracket game tomorrow.
Well, South Charleston, they got a lot of those GW guys. They're gritty guys. They were down and they fought back. They were down to 7, 8, and 9 guys with 3 outs to go, and those guys come through. So they hit 1 through 9. Even when the game's on the line, they're not 1 through 9 they can get it done. Got a lot of speed. They got some pitching depth. They're probably one of the favorites down here to win, and it's just going to be a great game tomorrow. Our approach is going to have to certainly keep them off the bases so that they can't take bases from us, free bases. We can't give those up at all. I think they're going to put the ball in play regardless of who we pitch, and we're going to have to make plays. Have to put some, really think about our outfield and who's our best outfield out there. They can run some balls down, so I think they're going to hit the ball, and I think we're going to hit it back. So it's going to come down to, who can get the ball in the gap and get the extra base hits, and I think it's going to be a great game. I think we're similar teams, and I think tomorrow's going to be a fun one for everybody to watch.
Yeah, and last thing for you, Jameer Brown started a state tournament game this year, so he's got experience in big games. He pitched the 7th for you. Do you bring him back and start him tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll we'll talk to him tonight. We got opening ceremonies. We'll talk to him, see how he feels, see what the approach is there, and him, he can go. Peanut Engel can go. JP, or not JP, but Sven can go. So we've got a lot of guys. Talk through here. We kind of after the game, we had a quick talked about guys going back, getting some rest, maybe hit the pool a little bit, have some fun. Go to opening ceremonies, and we're going to have dinner, and then we're going to have a talk. So, we'll make those decisions accordingly.
Very good. Well, Coach, congratulations on the win today, and we'll be watching tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Head coach Tripp Tobin there of Berkeley Post 14. They win over Parkersburg and will play South Charleston tomorrow. And again, all the games on the MetroNews TV app, including Morgantown against Beckley tonight in the final game of day number 1.
What time's that one? 7:30?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Yep, 7 o'clock coming up right as soon as the show's over. We'll take a break. We've got comments from Cam Cook. This should be fun.
It'll be fun. You'll enjoy hearing from Cam.
We'll take a break. We will hear from Cam right after this on the CityNet Statewide Sportsline.
When an injury slows you down, getting back to work safely matters. At WVU Medicine Outpatient Rehabilitation, we focus on helping you recover, rebuild strength, and get back to your life. With work conditioning and return-to-work programs, our occupational therapy team creates personalized plans focused on safety, function, and long-term success. Ask your provider for a referral or visit wvumedicine.org/outpatient rehab.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
It's good to have options for your family or employees. Rooted in your community since 1979, the Health Plan is your trusted partner. Get flexible coverage, exceptional support, and competitive rates.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. With the recent rain and flooding, it's very evident where we've had a very wet July so far, but looking at some numbers for month-to-date precipitation across the rest of the state, some areas within an inch below average, Morgantown and Clarksburg, Elkins just a bit above, Parkersburg over an inch and a half above, Huntington almost 2.5 inches above month-to-date average precipitation. However, Huntington is behind average year-to-date by over 3.5 inches, Clarksburg more than 2 inches behind, Elkins behind average by almost 2 inches, a slight surplus for Morgantown. That's about it. Charleston behind average month to date by about 1/4 inch. Year to date, almost a 6-inch deficit. We'll have some precipitation accumulation opportunities as we head through the start of the week. Monday and Tuesday doing a lot of that work. We'll monitor any heavy rain that may bring some localized flooding concerns in that time frame. Up until then, pretty quiet. We'll have a few showers passing here or there Friday, a few more of those gradually building into the region Saturday and Sunday as well. FlySair forecast, it starts at home. Atlanta, Orlando, Charlotte, Tampa, Myrtle Beach, those are all stormier areas you could be traveling to, while quiet conditions elsewhere are what we are experiencing. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, another overnight period with lows in the 50s and highs that are in the upper 70s to 80s, at 83 for Moundsville. We'll see more 50s for lows looking east than highs that are in the upper 70s and low 80s. Martinsburg, 83, Petersburg, 80, Elkins, 56 overnight, then 79 for a high on Friday. Not much warmer than that toward Ripley with 82. Marlinton, 56 and 74 here Friday with 83 in Charleston. We'll continue to see highs generally in the 80s with the active period starting to arrive over the weekend, but again, the heavier rain threat looks to be Monday and Tuesday.
CityNet's statewide sports line for Thursday. We're inside the Health Plan Studios. Kyle, Greg, and Brad earlier today. 3 guys before the game. Cam Cook, senior running back, was the special guest, and we're going to hear some of those comments now with Cam Cook. And Brad, great interview and tremendous personality. I think that came through really well during this interview.
Yeah, it did, Kyle. I really enjoyed catching up with him because the headline with him is nation's leading rusher last year, right? And we talked about this with him. That sticks with him forever. What an amazing accomplishment he had. But to go deeper, you know what I walked away saying, guys? It was like talking to a professional player. And we talk so often about these guys. They're getting paid now, and it's like more like professional than it ever was. You talk about a guy that understands what's going on from a training standpoint, from an analytics standpoint, all of the technology that they wear and have and what it returns to them. You want to deep dive into what that does? This guy was there to tell you. He knew what the numbers meant, what numbers he pays attention to, why he needs to pay attention to them. He was really on top of his game, talked about leadership and talked about the running back room and what he feels his role is with some of these younger guys. I was blown away at the maturity of him, and it truly was like talking to a professional player here for the hour and 15 minutes that we talked to him.
And we know that in football, I mean, everybody has a role on a team, on a unit, right? But his ultimate production may be the most important of anybody on this team. Certainly quarterback's going to get a lot of attention as well. But if Cam Cook puts up numbers as good as he did last year at Jacksonville State, all of a sudden a running game that wasn't very good last year becomes dynamic, and that changes the equation considerably for the Mountaineer offense. So quarterback's got to be good. Offensive line's got to be way better than it was last year. But now you got a running back that at the top of the chart you think can certainly be productive.
Totally agree with you as the most important piece. And you're right. He is linked with that offensive line. Those go together. As one goes, the other's going to go. And he talks about this, and we don't have this clip to play tonight, but if you listen to the full episode wherever you get your podcast, MetroNews TV app, or YouTube. He goes into that and talks about how important Rick Trickett was for him coming to this location and what he loved about Rick Trickett and how he teaches his group of offensive linemen and how that benefits Cam and the two guys that came with Rick and Bubba Grayson and Cam Griffin that arrived. And it's just a really interesting, smart interview from a guy that understands it in totality, not just his little piece that he's got to run the ball well, but understands in totality how this thing works together.
So experienced and incredibly productive, two things you can say about Cam Cook. 34 career games, over almost 2,200 career rushing yards, 25 touchdowns, and that's our first cut here. He talks about the workload that he's had so far in college football and what he expects this year.
Last year in your games, 31 carries, 29 carries, 27 carries, 25 carries, 25 carries. Man, that is a load. How did your body hold up with almost 300 carries?
I mean, I definitely felt the carries, but I mean, it didn't mean nothing to me. I think before the season had started, I had talked to those coaches, and they told me what it was going to be. So I had locked in on just making sure my body was ready for that, making sure I was prepared for that. So just making sure after every game, stay in the training room, stay in there, make sure I get my body back to 100. And then one thing about what we were doing last year is we'll come back from the game and we'll run. We'll run after the game. So maybe
after the game?
Maybe not the day of the game.
Right, next day.
But the next day we'll be out there running, moving is nothing happened almost. So just for me, being able to just as long as I'm still moving, as long as I'm consistently moving, I'll be okay. Hey.
Yeah, one other thing he talked about that I don't believe we have the cut was the conditioning that they're going through here at West Virginia under Rich Rodriguez. It's like nothing he's ever experienced.
Yeah, and he talks about that. He feels he's in the best shape of his life right now as we're in July. You haven't even got to camp yet, and that's part of what Rich feels the magic is with this team, Greg. It's not just tempo to run tempo, but he's going to feel like this team can out-condition all of its opponents. That's what Rich thinks is part of his competitive advantage, and Cam is buying into that and says he's further along conditioning-wise than he's ever been in his career.
And it certainly needs to be for West Virginia. Again, we talk about, he's going to talk about some of the younger backs as well.
Yes.
But he's that experienced guy. He's going to be your bell cow.
Yes.
I think as long as he is able to stand, he's going to be out there, and they're going to keep feeding him the football.
Well, they did last year, right?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't in a Rich Rod offense, but it kind of was. And now it's a full Rich Rod offense. And what's the one thing we know about Rich? If it's working, he's going back to it again. So Cam is a guy that feels like, barring any weird injuries that come up, it's a guy that's poised and ready to carry the ball 25 times if he has to.
Real quick stat, he had 295 rushing attempts last year. That would have been second in the history of Mountaineer football.
Wow.
Only Avon Coburn with 335 had more. So that tells you, and he didn't play in their bowl game.
Correct.
So again,
they ran him.
Yeah, they fed him, and they're going to. And West Virginia's going to do the same thing.
What about the running style? He talked about making the defense miss.
Last year, 100 missed tackles forced. 100 missed tackles forced. 53 carries of 10 yards or more. What's the key to breaking tackles?
The key to breaking tackles?
Yes. Because I've seen your highlights. Sometimes you run around people. Sometimes you run past them. Sometimes you run through them.
Right. I say, for me, it's setting them up at the beginning of the play. I know I got to get to a certain point, and if the defender knows where I'm going, I need to be able to set him up a certain way, and just being able to know where you are, know where everybody is on the field. I feel like it's easy for me to make somebody miss just because if they think they know where I'm gonna be at, that's the problem. We're in itself. If you try to beat me to a spot, okay, I'm not gonna go to that spot no more, or I'm gonna do whatever I can. But that goes back to balance too, my balance, my core that I'm worked on, that I've been putting in so much work too. So being able to bounce off a hit and stay balanced, or take a hit and not fall down, put my hand down, keep my eyes up so I could still look and be able to move around, know where the next person is. Like, it's always about the next guy. You can't be a top running back or a top any skill player on offense. You can't be a top skill player in D1 football and you can't make the first guy miss. So that's what I pride on.
And see, he's a unique back. He's got speed, runs in the 4.4s, but he also has that ability to juke, but he can put his head down and run 3. He brings it all to the table. But it's interesting, and he goes on in that answer there, talks more about this. He's not just relying on the physical gifts. Like, he's studying film, and he talks about how much more advanced he is now than when he was at TCU as a freshman, where he just went out there and thought, well, I'll just go run the football. And so he's thinking through it as well, and that's one thing you hear from the coaches so much about him is how intelligent he is as well.
So when he was at Jacksonville State, Rich Rodriguez wasn't there. Rich was here. But as you mentioned before, he talked about what an influence that Rick Trickett had on him in coming here. So that was kind of a precursor, right? If you can play with Rick Trickett in your ear and in your head, you can probably play with Rich Rodriguez.
No question. And I think that does link together, and that's what he talked about. Right. And he liked Rick Trickett from the standpoint, he said, yeah, he gets after his guys and he gets on me. He said, he gets on me. But that says a lot about Rick Trickett. And again, we know him, right? Everybody listening, we've been through the Rick Trickett deal a couple of times before. But the fact that Cam can recognize, for a coach that's that hard on you, recognizes how he gets the most out of his players, and he goes into Rich, and he talks a little bit about Rich and why Rich is so good.
Let's hear that cut, playing for Rich Rodriguez.
What's the thing that's caught you about Rich? He's getting close to 200 wins, which hasn't been done a whole lot in college football. So watching him in the spring, watching him now here in the summer, why do you think he's had success?
I'd say he has success because of how real he is. You can't be around him and do something wrong and not know it. Like, as soon as you do something wrong, you're gonna know right away, and that means so much to me because I've been around people that will let you do something they don't like, and they'll just turn their head, and you're just doing it wrong. So being able to know, like, even if I'm doing something wrong, I try not to do nothing wrong, really. but knowing that he's gonna tell you right away, I don't like that, or you need to do it this way. This is why I want it this way. And being able to, he'll explain it too. He'll make sure you know why. He'll bring everybody in together. Like, we'll have offensive meetings. He'll be like, you need a break at the top of your route. Everybody needs to break at the top of the route. The running backs need to know how to break at the top of their route because he want everybody to know why we're doing it, like why we're doing what we're doing. So, and that's also go back to like running the ball and why we're doing it. Mm-hmm. He wants us to be the most conditioned team. He wants us to be moving faster than they can move. So I say just that's really it. Like, him telling you what he wants, and he's going to tell you if you're wrong right away. That meant the most to me.
That's pretty interesting, and what a mature answer for a guy, right? That's we say this all the time, looking past Rich's antics and the screaming to what he's doing and appreciates that he's not letting anything slide. Nothing slides out on that practice field. If you make a mistake, you're being told right now, and you got to correct it. And for him to recognize that and appreciate that, I think that says a lot about Cam Cook.
Now, how many times have you heard it with Rich or other coaches that can be fiery? Listen to what they say and not how they say it.
Yeah, and for him to do it in year one with Rich, I thought that was a really mature, impressive answer there.
All right, one more before the break here. One last cut with Cam Cook on last season.
Obviously, as we said at the start, you've got the bullseye on your back because every opposing defense that comes against you this year is going to go, okay, that's the guy that led the nation last year in rushing. Let's go get him. What individually you want to prove as you return to Power 4 this year? What's on your agenda?
Really, to me, something I want to prove is just last year I wasn't on nobody's radar. So, and I went and did like whatever I did. This year, I'm on everybody's radar. I want to be able to do the same thing. Not even the same thing, but maybe to even do more. Like I said, you said I got a target on my back. Basically, with the target on my back, what can I go do now? I want people to see that.
Mm-hmm. Because the great ones like, oh, yeah, come here, bring it.
Yeah.
I got you.
So he's up for the challenge, right? Everybody, Greg, he's going to lead the scouting report for every defensive coordinator, right? And so he's ready, knows it, and accepts it, and he's ready to put them on.
Certainly prepared for it with the conditioning and learning the system this summer, no doubt. We'll take a break. One more with Cam Cook coming up. He'll talk about who's with him there in that running back room, some of the younger ball carriers that we'll likely see this year running the football for the Mountaineers. CityNet statewide Sportsline continues. We're in the Health Plan Studios since 1979. The Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
It's good to have options for your family or employees. Rooted in your community since 1979, the Health Plan is your trusted partner. Get flexible coverage, exceptional support, and competitive rates.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps. And never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline
returns in 2 minutes
on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably Mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
We'll have some time for some text coming up in just a couple of minutes. It is the CityNet statewide sports line. Again, Cam Cook on the latest edition of Three Guys Before the Game. It was posted this afternoon, so it's out there. We're listening back to some of the highlights in that first segment. Cam talked about playing for Rich Rodriguez. He talked about his approach in terms of making the defense miss. The workload was tremendous for him last year at Jacksonville State. He expects it to be the same this year with the Mountaineers. What about depth? You need depth at that running back position. West Virginia, of course, knows that more than anybody after the injury situation last year. So Cam Cook talked about the rest of the running back room.
Tell us about the room a little bit. Let's talk about some of the other guys. Give me a little bit on Latimer, what makes him good. Give me Boswell. What do you like about the other guys in the room?
So I'll start off with Amari. He definitely got he's real knowledgeable as being as young as he is right now. And then definitely got the body. If you look at him, you could tell he's meant to play running back.
He does not look like a freshman.
No, not at all. And then I try to make sure, like, keeping him, like, near me, like, when we work out, like, when we're doing, even I wouldn't say at a school, but, like, outside of football, like, when we're doing workouts, I'm trying to make sure he's with me. So just making sure we're on the same page. But I say, like, he is definitely, like, far along, like,
mature beyond his years.
Yeah, mature for sure. And then Boz got some crazy speed. Like, I'll say, like, you wouldn't understand how he's moving like that, like how fast he's moving for real. Like, just it looks so natural. Like, you couldn't even teach somebody to run how he running. Like, he's just running, like, for real. And like, he's an explosive guy. So that's just another, like, having so many different, I'll say, even say Tally and the other backs that we got in the room are some quick backs. Like, we all bring a certain thing to the table. Like, and being able to have so many different styles of play, like, everybody got their own different style of play. I wouldn't say nobody in the room is similar at all.
Mm-hmm. All right, so there's a lot there to dive through. First of all, how about the leadership from Cam Cook to, on his own, take the freshman Latimer under his wing and show him, okay, here's how it goes. So, again, another example of how the guy conducts himself like he's a pro, number one. So Latimer, no surprise, talks about the body first, Greg. He has a different look to him. You can tell that guy is physically ready to play Power 4 football right now. And then the speed is going to be interesting with Boswell. And again, you start to get down into your third ball carrier, you're going to need him. Yes. You hopefully don't need anywhere near what you needed last year from West Virginia. That's
what you ended up
unbelievable injury, bad luck last year. That's got to regress to the mean, you would think. Those are probably your three main guys. Chris Talley is getting some mention there, as you heard Cam talk about. But those three, Latimer's going to get a lot of carries.
Yes.
And then if Boswell can be kind of a home run hitter there, as you get the defense maybe a little bit tired, get Boswell on the outside for a couple big hitters.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, with his speed, and Tally's sort of a similar type of speed guy. At least that's his reputation as well. So you do like the 1-2 punch, though, because there is a difference between what Latimer brings and what Cam Cook brings, right? You know, as you said, Cam Cook has a little bit of everything with him, and Latimer is just a horse at 230 pounds. That he's got better speed than I think most guys his size have, but he obviously with that bulk, he's got the ability to break through people. So you hope you can keep those two going, but you're going to need a third, at least a third, even if you're healthy.
Yeah,
you need three.
Yeah, especially as much as Rich wants to run it, but I think that does give you some good balance. You mentioned it. Cam can do all of that. Latimer, you're right, is faster and probably more versatile, but given his size at listed 5'10", 230, that's a guy when you need to honk it up in there for a couple short yardage positions, okay, there you got a guy. And then again, if this offense is working like it's supposed to, and you're sustaining drives, and you've got some guys hanging and hands on the hips, and you put a burner there on the edge in Boswell, you could get some easy big runs there, and certainly that's what this offense is designed to do and should do if it's clicking.
And again, it's going to be fun to see. You talked about the speed of Martavius Boswell, a little guy at 5'9", 170. That's going to be fun if he gets an opportunity, especially early in the season in some of these games.
Yeah, and don't you love guys like that when people talk about them and they say they look effortless but they're flying? That's when you know you can really cook. So I'm interested to watch him get on the field.
And he's a little bit different because he's a JUCO kid coming in. So, you know, he's played at a higher level than the high school guys. Now, he hasn't been at the Power 4 level, but again, he's sort of in between those, and obviously Cook has played at the very high level, even before his time at Jacksonville State. Of course, at TCU, he was playing for the Horned Frogs, so he's played Power football.
Yeah, he was their leading rusher that year. Also had 9 rushing touchdowns. He talks about that in the podcast. He just said he didn't do enough research in style of play when he was coming out of high school, and just didn't feel that system fit for him. He said that's part of why he went to Jacksonville State, and certainly it paid off. It fit him, and part of why he wanted to come here. He feels this offensive system fits him as well. You know, Talley and Boswell are interesting because if you talk to the coaches, it's over the last couple of weeks, they have made a big leap here. So they're really starting to get it together and understand what's going on. And it's part of the benefit of having these extra practices now is you can really hit the ground running here next week when camp opens, not just trying to mix those guys in early. They're already going to be full go when you hit it in the first week of August.
Cam Cook, that full episode of Three Guys Before the Game available at wherever you get your podcasts. We also want to remind you, Something else on Metro News TV coming up, the 2026 West Virginia Prep Football Showcase. It'll premiere this Saturday at 8 o'clock on Metro News Television, the Metro News TV YouTube channel, and Metro News Sports Facebook. Hosted by Travis Jones and Joe Percato, the special recaps the 2026 Coalfields and Company West Virginia Prep Football Showcase from Pony Lewis Field. Morgantown High. The program features many of West Virginia's top high school football prospects from all the classes in the state, along with expert analysis and an early look at the teams and the players expected to make headlines this year. So that is the West Virginia Prep Football Showcase coming to Metro News TV on Saturday. And again, all the games from the American Legion State Tournament are on Metro News TV, including the showcase game from Game 1 tonight, Morgantown against the host team Beckley. All 4 games tomorrow, and that tournament continues on through Monday. The championship round is scheduled for Monday. All right, guys, great show tonight. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow.
For Brad and Greg, I'm Kyle. Thanks for listening and watching the CityNet Statewide Sportsline, and we'll be back on Friday.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network.
All rights reserved.